Joining us now is criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Vinoo. So first of all, how many states allow capital punishment, and what is the difference between state and federal executions?
So first, 20 states across well, actually about 30 states use it, about 20 have banned it. The difference is that in the United States, you have parallel systems. The state system, each state has its own way of doing things, and then the federal system. So as you mentioned, this would have been the first federal execution since 2003. And what's important to note here is you got to understand the background here. Bill Barr, the Attorney General, who controls the federal criminal system, he's the top law enforcement agent in the country, he loves death and pain. And this is because he has pushed this forward. There were 4 executions scheduled for this week, but then just a few hours ago, a judge in D.C. basically put a stay on all of them, and that's what the Barr administration, or the Department of Justice under Bill Barr, is moving. And why? Because this method that they're going to use, using this drug called pentobarbital, produces the effect of drowning, and it is apparently the most painful way to die. The plaintiffs, the defendants, the criminal defendants, or the plaintiffs in this action, have put forth an alternative: use a firing squad. So a firing squad is used. So the judge has, and the evidence put forth in this hearing shows that a firing squad would be immediate and almost certainly reduce the amount of pain. Finally, there is another aspect or twist to all of this. The person who is scheduled to be executed today, Lee Lewis, the family of the victim, which was this Jewish family that was murdered by him, a white supremacist, and stealing guns, has personally implored Donald Trump to stay the execution and commute his sentence to life. So Trump, the pro-lifer, if he's consistent, would actually stay and commute the sentence and make it life without prison. They've implored him, but yet no response from Trump so far. So wow. There's a lot of interesting things going on and a lot of interplay here.
Okay, that is to say the least. Now, how big is the difference between the rate of state and federal executions? Why are federal executions so rare?
The system, I mean, there's a lot more scrutiny, and the Department of Justice has to sign off on this, right? So whereas at the state level, you have local prosecutors who bring a prosecution if there's a murder prosecution or whatever it is that causes somebody to be put forth. There's obviously, 50 states, District of Columbia, and there's one U.S. federal government. So that's the large part for the reason why you have some more state executions.
So you would say that's why this is the first execution.
Texas.
Sorry,
I was going to say Texas executes more people than anybody, so that helps. Texas and Florida. Okay.
Now, well, I mean, how does the American public feel about the death penalty today? Have we seen more or less support in the last couple of years, and if so, why?
Well, it really hasn't been a big campaign issue. Nobody's really talking about it. It seems that it's been basically the U.S. Supreme Court has left it up to the states. And it's been a non-issue at the federal level. In 2014, President Obama urged further exploration of this, and it took 8 years to update the protocols. So you've taken 8 years to update the protocols, and then now you're in a situation where Bill Barr is now scheduled for in the same week. And I think there's a reason why. He wants to leave his mark here. Right, as I said, he loves pain and death. If he's following the polls, he's going to be out in January when there's a new president, assuming the polls hold up. So he wants to leave his mark, and I think that's really what's at play here. And ultimately, this case will go up to the Supreme Court, and if they accept the premise or the evidence that was put forth in this courthouse in D.C., the federal courthouse, then there are other less painful methods, and that's the only reason the Supreme Court would stop this, if there is a less painful method. The evidence that firing squad is less painful.
All right, Vinoo, thank you so much for joining us and giving us your insight on this topic.